r/AskReddit. Serious. What are some women's issues that are overlooked? Hysterectomies. I am 24 and have recurring fibroid tumors and have since I was a teenager. It's not typical for someone my age to have multiple and large fibroids. My largest one was 11 centimeters. They are painful and I'm about to have my second surgery to remove them. I don't want to keep doing this over and over and would like to have a hysterectomy, yet my surgeon refuses because I'm young and might want children. If I get pregnant, I have a high risk of miscarriage. It will eat me alive if that happens to me. I am finally getting my fallopian tubes removed in a couple weeks. I prep by looking at every angle they might say no and even the laws in my area concerning it. I wonder if it helps to bring up that you'll sign anything absolving them of blame in that very hypothetical case or threatening to report them to the board for refusing to treat your serious medical condition. Good luck. My mom needed a hysterectomy a couple years ago due to cysts and some precancerous cells. They wanted to hold off on actually performing the hysterectomy because she might want kids. At the time, she was 52, already had 2 adult children, and her husband had a vasectomy 21 years ago. Pelvic floor physical therapy. It's life-changing, and many women don't know their physical issues can be easily addressed. Yes. Also, incontinence is never normal. It's always a medical issue worthy of treatment. As someone who suffers from vaginismus, preach that sometimes you really do need that hysterectomy the doctors are refusing to give you because they want to make sure you don't want to have more children. Same goes for getting a tubal done. I don't get this at all. Do they really think we just impulsively seek surgical removals of our organs like a handbag? If you're asking for it, you've probably given it some thought. In Mexico in 1990, my aunt was told that if she had any more children, she'd likely die. She had complications on kid number 6. She had to go to Mexico City to get permission from the bishop to get her tubes tied. Some unmarried male stranger got to choose whether my aunt would have a potentially life-saving surgery. The lack of actual education about your own body. Like I didn't even know I had 3 holes until I was 16, and I learned it from an episode of Big Mouth. I remember reading about the 3 holes once and commenting with a friend, girl too, at school and her calling me dumb for believing such nonsense, telling everyone I thought we had 3 holes and ganging up with other girls, so I ended up being a joke for a good long while. Fast forward many years, me in my mid-30s watching Big Mouth and feeling vindicated by the fucking public service that TV series is doing for teens. Seriously. My partner was confused at my reaction. I'm glad I wasn't the only one. Lol. Studies have shown that most young girls around age 7 can name male genitalia but don't have the language for their own body parts. There are reasons why memes exist about men not being able to find the clitoris in women who don't masturbate. Ladies, take control of your sexuality as soon as you're aware. It will set you free in ways you'll be thanking God for later. Figure out what you like in bed, however you feel comfortable, and then don't settle for less. Buy as many sex toys as you damn please and don't feel guilty to take care of yourself as much as you like. Wanting to get your tubes tied, but you have to get your partner's permission. You need to have kids first. Also the general lack of sex ed. Women's thinking they pee out of their vagina. Or given the wrong information on to keep things clean down there. Or the correct ways on how to prevent pregnancy if that's what you want to do. Oral contraceptive birth control pills can cause depression and very often do. PMS and PMDD aren't taken seriously enough. The depression and anxiety of PMDD are debilitating. Edit. Genuinely a little heartbroken at how much this blew up overnight. I'm so sorry but not surprised that so many of you deal with these issues. If you have PMDD, please join us at our PMDD if only to have a sounding board for when you're feeling bad and wondering if you're crazy. You're not alone. I really wish this were discussed more. I struggled with depression and anxiety for years throughout my early 20s. I stopped taking birth control and it just vanished. I almost couldn't believe the difference it made. Even my colleagues noticed how much my demeanor had improved. A lot of my friends have stopped taking it too with similar experiences. None of us feel the need to go back. Additionally, my friend struggled with migraines for years and no doctor ever suggested that BC could be the cause, but she hasn't had one since she stopped taking them years ago. I don't know why nobody ever suggested it. I know the pill has been incredibly useful for women to have better control over their bodies and can be very helpful to some. I just wish they had talked through it more when prescribing. The only thing I was worried about was that I'd gain weight on them. how bad some of the negative effects hormonal birth control can be. I was losing my mind, but my doctor brushed it off saying I was just stressed. Got off it, and instantly felt so much better. I fucking hate hormonal birth control. I've tried almost every type, and they all magically mess me up in different ways. It seems to either makes me so nauseated and wrecks my GI system, it completely kills my sex drive, or it makes me suicidal. I really want my tubes tied, but I'm super scared of surgery. I wish there were more non-hormonal options or more options for men. Plus every time I complained about the side effects it was, "Oh, are you sure it's the BC? Most people handle it just fine." Please shut up. Oh, you're just stressed. That phrase. They told me this for months when I was complaining of abnormal, catatonic exhaustion. Finally a doctor thought to test my iron stores and B12 level, and I had nearly none of either and was close to permanent nerve damage. Now whenever a doctor utters that phrase to me they get an instant middle finger. Just kidding, we also don't get the luxury of anger. In my country it's after-birth care for mothers. Mental health system is fucked. Women are told the pain they are feeling is normal, only to find out they need a stoma bag a month down the track. Some women have died after not being checked over properly before leaving the hospital. I don't even live in a third world country either. People are wanting to move here because of how we've handled COVID. Women's suffering is generally considered normal. Painful period. Normal. Incessant vomiting during pregnancy. Normal. Postnatal pain. Normal. What did you expect? Hey, guess what? You can have painless periods and symptoms-free pregnancy. They just can't be bothered to help you. -10% of women have this, including me, which leads to diabetes, infertility, and many other problems. The biggest issue with PCOS for me, aside from previously being anovulatory, was that I went 29 years undiagnosed because I'm nearly 5'9" and 103-110 pounds. I didn't fit the type for so many outguys. The education gap in phenotypes of the syndrome is unreal, and it's because education in female-only issues isn't a priority. The lack of research is incredibly depressing. Yes. I had documented rage issues and was put onto mood stabilizer. Never worked. Gyn told me the PCOS was causing testosterone overproduction, leading to my unstable moods as well as chest hair, masculinization of my features. The birth control worked. Within a week I felt normal. Haven't had a rage out in months. Medical conditions going untreated because they're all dismissed as anxiety, the new hysteria, or related to hormones. A neurologist tried to tell me unexplained episodes of body numbness couldn't possibly be the migraines the ER doctors suspected and treated effectively, but must be anxiety. I said that would be very unusual given that I had no anxiety before or during these episodes. Apparently I can be not anxious and magically cause a physical symptom with the magical power of anxiety even when I have no anxiety. I've also been told anxiety caused my food allergies. What's sad is, it took until I scrolled 3/4 of the way down the page to find something that isn't health-related. Then there was one that wasn't health-related. Then it was all health-related again. We really have a problem here. I was just about to comment the same thing. After having my heart issues dismissed as just anxiety by several doctors for several years, and nothing being done about my irregular periods, they said I would grow out of it, but I'm almost at my mid-20s, I realized women's health is a joke. I really wanted to become a doctor ever since I was young, but after having my very real concerns dismissed repeatedly, and hearing about everyone else's experiences, it really makes me question if it's worth. Getting off of any form of birth control is hard. This past week I had my normal yearly OB checkup. I mentioned I wanted my UTI out. My normal doctor was out of the office, so I had to see someone else. She refused to take my UTI out because I wasn't married, and she insisted that my fiancé wouldn't want the chance of us getting pregnant. I want you to document in the chart that I requested you remove my UTI and you refused. This doctor does know that UTIs aren't meant to stay there forever, right? There's plenty of valid reasons why you'd want it out. Medical issues. It took me 3 ER visits and a walk-in doctor to diagnose a raging infection in my abdomen. I was told it's all in my head. By the time it got diagnosed, my bowel had almost perforated. I could have died if I was less tenacious. When I was a kid, 12-ish, I was very sick. My pediatrician was on maternity leave, so a male doctor was filling in for her. My mom kept taking me to the doctor, and he kept saying I was trying to skip school and that my mom should stop falling for my act. To be fair, I did feign illness to skip school a lot as a kid. But this time I was genuinely terribly sick. I could barely hold my own head up. I kept getting worse. Doctor kept flip-flopping between saying it was a cold and saying I was faking. I felt so sick I couldn't even get off the couch. I wasn't eating, barely drinking. Then one night my mom woke up with a bad feeling in her gut. Found me asleep on the couch, unresponsive, barely breathing. She took me to the ER where they said I'd had severe pneumonia for several weeks and it went untreated because the doctor didn't believe me or my mom. The doctors at the hospital told my mom I probably would have died that night if she didn't wake up to check on me when she did. My lungs are permanently damaged and function at less than half capacity now, almost 15 years later. I cannot laugh for more than a minute without my lungs filling with fluid. And you can forget about running or doing any moderate exercise. I also had to be put on such strong medications that they destroyed my stomach lining and gave me acid reflux that lasted several years.